Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. This is a continuation of the video, The Great Separation, The Great Divide. Uh, and as usual, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Brace yourselves. Don't turn to the left or the right. You don't want to get hit in the mouth, because we're about to slap you with this truth as we normally do. Once again, this video is a continuation of the Great Separation, the Great Divide, that explains that there will be a separation within the house of Israel, and you're also going to see a separation in the midst of the many nations who are the enemies of the house of Israel. And we will start this video. Let's grab your books, of course. Okay, grab your books, and we will start off at Deuteronomy chapter 7. Deuteronomy chapter 7, and we will start at verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6 reads, For thou art an holy people unto Yah thy strong one. Yah thy strong one hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all the people that are upon the face of the earth. So there's a separation between the house of Israel and any other nation that's here on the earth. So that separation was made by the Most High himself. So it's imperative that the nation of Israel, or the sons of Jacob, are not trying to be like other people. For from the onset, we were separate or made separate from everyone else. Excuse me. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 14. Deuteronomy chapter 14, and we'll read verse 2. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 2. And it reads, For thou art an holy people unto Yah thy strong one. And Yah hath chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself, above all nations that are upon the earth. So we've read that twice. Okay? So we understand clearly there's a separation between the house of Israel and any other people on the planet. Okay? Or any other people on the face of the earth. Let's put it that way. Okay? All right, let's go now to Deuteronomy chapter 26. And we will read verse 17 through 19. Deuteronomy chapter 26. Deuteronomy chapter 26, and we will read verse 17 through 19. Verse 17 of Deuteronomy chapter 26 reads, Thou hast avouched Yah this day to be thy strong one, and to walk in his ways, and to keep his statutes, and his commandments, and his judgments, and to hearken unto his voice. Verse 18, And that Yah hath avouched thee this day to be his peculiar people, as he has promised thee, and that thou shouldest keep all his commandments. Verse 19, And to make thee high above all nations which he hath made, in praise and in name and in honor, and that thou mayest be an holy people unto Yah thy strong one, as he hath spoken. So we've just covered 3 places where the house of Israel is above all nations, which eliminates we're all the same and every man is created equal. Takes that and throw it in the trash can. All right? The house of Israel is a special nation, a special people, a bloodline of people that is set apart from the rest of the people that are upon the face of the earth, and they are above all the nations of the earth. And this is not because I said this. Moshe said this, the Most High said this. Okay, and we are to adhere to the counsel of the Most High, for the Most High said that his counsel shall stand and none other. And no one's counsel can be contrary to the Most High. No one. Now let's go to Amos 5, verse 10. Amos chapter 5, and we'll read verse 10. Amos chapter 5 verse 10 reads, They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh upright, or uprightly. Now, those of the house of Israel, when someone is speaking pertaining to the Most High's laws, his statutes, and his judgments, the majority of the house of Israel refuse to hear that. They will not adhere to the Most High's law, and they're doing things that everyone else in the nation in which we have been scattered, they're doing that. Whatever those people are worshiping, so is the house of Israel. We are in error. Okay? So, you will see those of us who are speaking and teaching the laws of the Most High, we will be hated by many who will walk contrary to this law. Okay, so you will see that take place as well, just as in the days of old, because you have to keep in mind that the majority of the people, the vast majority of the people, would not keep the Most High's laws. Okay, so the prophets were few, and as we've read in the first part of this video, that the house of Israel sought to kill the Most High's prophets. Okay, tore down his altars, etc. Okay, so the vast majority of the people will not walk in the confines of this law, which means the herd mentality, where you see the majority of the people huddled together, you know the correct way to go is where there are few, because the herd mentality doesn't work in this word, for the simple fact few have actually chosen to walk the path of the Most High, and the majority of them chose to follow after idols. Hence, we were kicked out and thrust out and spewed out of the land. Okay, so the herd mentality is the wrong way to go. If you see 10 Israelites gathered over there and one over there, chances are where that one is the correct way to go, because the vast majority will not adhere to the Most High's law. Let's jump to Amos 9. We'll read Amos 9, and we'll read verse 9. Amos 9:9 reads, For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All right. This thing right here is known as a sieve, a strainer. In essence, what this is, it is a separator. It can separate water from rice, water from noodles, etc., etc. So the Most High is saying that he will sift. In other words, he's going to separate the house of Israel from the midst of these nations. So keep in mind, we are to be gathered, okay, and restored back unto the land that was promised to our forefathers. We cannot be separated from these nations and from the people of the nations if we are joined onto them. So we must do as it was done in the days of old. In the days of old, the Most High separated us. He severed us from other people. We have gone contrary to what he have done, and we have joined ourselves onto other people. So now what's going to happen is we have a choice to make. We can either A, return back to the days of old and obey the instruction that we were given at the first, or we can continue to grab a hold of idols, grab a hold of vanity, and walk after the ways of those who have held us captive. And that will be to our demise and will cause us to pine away in these nations. So the Most High said he will command and sift us. And you're seeing that separation taking place. Not only in America, you will see it in all the nations of the earth, where there's going to be a separation, where the house of Israel is going to make a separation in the midst of themselves. We must understand that there are those among us who do not have our best interests at heart. Many of the wealthy of us can care less about the rest of us. Okay, so we have to really consider when we're taking time off to go watch someone play basketball or football or some of these other foolishness that we take part in. Okay, and spend 4 and 5 hours in front of our TV looking at a football or basketball game. We're supporting those who look like us, that 9 out of 10 times will sell us up the river, okay, could care less about us. We're supporting their cause for the simple fact that we feel as though he looks like us, so therefore he's going to speak on our behalf or champion our cause. And this is not the case. We have been seeing lately many of the wealthy and many of the older or the elders of the house of Israel have literally come out on TV and have said some things that is totally contrary to our cause and damaging to our cause. And now we're seeing that though we look alike, we don't think alike, and we are not on one accord. And this is where the great separation shall be. Those who are for our people and those who will be against our people. And those who are against our people that look like us, we will indeed go against them. So look for these things. Let's go down to Amos chapter 9, and we will go down to verse 10. Okay, verse 10 of Amos chapter 9. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. Let me repeat that. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. So there will be those of Israel who will have the feeling that, you know, I worship such and such. When this evil comes upon the house of Israel, when this judgment comes, I'm going to be okay because I'm serving such and such. Many are unaware of who they're serving and what they're serving. And so they feel, based on who they're serving, they are protected from these judgments. And the Most High said, once again, all sinners. How are you considered a sinner? And what is considered evil? Anyone that walks contrary to the Most High's instruction? And anyone that does anything contrary to the Most High's law. Okay? Those are your evildoers. Those who will not keep the Most High's Sabbath. Who will not adhere to his laws, any. His feast days, his dress code, etc. And his code of conduct. So, if you're not walking in this way, you will be a sinner of his people. So do not feel as though because you found out that you are the house of Israel, you're immune from these judgments. You are to return to this law and do the things that are right in the sight of the Most High. All right. Now let's go to Ezekiel chapter 9. And we will read the entire chapter. Ezekiel chapter 9. All right. Ezekiel chapter 9 reads, verse 1. He cried also in mine ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, even every man with his destroying weapon in his hand. So every man has been commanded to come close, to draw near, to have his weapon ready. Verse 2. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lieth towards the north, and every man a slaughter weapon in his hand, and one man among them was clothed with linen, with a rider's inkhorn by his side, and they went in and stood beside the brazen altar. So, they're in the house of the Most High. The Most High commanded that Israel will come, and every man with his weapon, and you have the man that's dressed in white linen with an inkhorn. That's an angel of the Most High. Okay? Verse 3. And the glory of Yahweh of Israel was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house. And he called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. And Yah said unto him, this is the Most High speaking to one of his angels. Okay? Verse 4 once again. And Yah said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Let's pause there for a second. So the Most High is instructing his angel, go through this city of Jerusalem, this holy city where I chose to lay my name, and put a mark on all of those who are disgusted for all the abominations that's taken place within this city. All the homosexuality, all the lies, the bribery, the murder, the idolatry, all the perversions, adultery, you name it. Okay, so this angel is commanded for the ones who are totally saddened by this disgust, to the ones who are sickened by it, and cry aloud for the abomination that they see in the city. Put a mark on them, for they are after my heart, and they are walking in the way, and they are disgusted for what they're seeing in the midst of them. So put a mark on them. In other words, separate them from the evildoers. Okay? Verse 5. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city, and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. So, the separation is, the Most High said, look, put a mark on those who are disgusted for all the abominations that they see. For their ways are pretty much after his heart. They're walking after his law. And for the ones that, hey, you know, nowadays you have somewhere homosexuality is being pushed. It's being pushed throughout the earth. And there are those of you with gay sons, gay daughters, some of you gay yourselves, or, well, it doesn't bother me. You know, you can't help who you love, and all this manner of foolishness. You have to take sides. Okay, so some of you are saying, well, it doesn't bother me. They're not bothering me if they don't do what they do what they do over there. It doesn't concern me. So you are not disgusted for the things that you're seeing that's contrary to the Most High's law. And if you are one that's actually on the fence, you're the one that will not get this mark, had it been back in those times. Okay, so the ones that are not disgusted for what they see, those are the ones that are killed. And that would be those of you who feel as though, well, you can't help who you love. It doesn't bother me, so it doesn't concern me. I could care less. Let them do what they do, and I'll do what I do, that sort of thing. So you're going to be forced to actually take a stand and decide exactly where your allegiance lies. Okay, so those who were liberal about the whole situation, they were killed. Let's continue to read. Verse 6. Slay utterly, old and young, both maids and little children, and women, but come not near any man upon whom the mark is, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they began at the ancient men which were before the house. So the Most High said, look, all of these that did not receive this mark, who are in agreement with wickedness, because if you're not against it, you're with it. So you understand that. Kill them. That's it. We're not going to use the word like destroy, okay, or waste. We're going to use a word that's very sharp, because what's happening is, I'm reading out of a King James authorized version, and these new versions have twisted the words up and have taken the sting out of the commandments of the Most High, softened it up a little bit, and changed its meaning entirely. So what the Most High said, starting at my sanctuary, starting with these ancient men, these elders of Israel, kill them. Kill women, kill children, kill everybody who is not in accordance with my law. Kill them. So you understand exactly when you decide to make your allegiance, it's a life or death situation, just like we were commanded by Moshe in the days of old. This law is our life, and through this thing we may prolong our days. You're to keep that in mind. So the Most High says, start at his sanctuary, and they slaughtered them. Let's go to verse 7. And he said unto them, defile the house, and filled the course with the slain. Go ye forth. And they went forth and slew in the city. So the Most High did say, he told Solomon, he told all those in the days of old, if you walk contrary to me, I'm going to, number one, I'm going to uproot you. I'm going to pluck you up by the roots, cast you out of my land, and I'm going to defile this house. So this is a warning that we were given. So this is nothing new. The Most High is simply following through on what he commanded us that he would do should we walk contrary to the instructions that we were given at the first. Verse 8, and it came to pass, while they were slaying them, and I was left, that I fell upon my face and cried, and said, Ah, Yah, wilt thou destroy all the residue of Israel in thy pouring out of thy fury upon Jerusalem? So the Most High poured out his fury upon Jerusalem. And Ezekiel is crying out, wondering, will you kill us all? Most High won't kill us all. He just killed the rebels. And I want you to understand that when you're seeing Israelites getting shot up in the street, getting killed, locked up, etc., you may want to cry for them. You may want to have empathy for them. But we have to understand that many of these men, not all, but there are many that are being locked up, that are terrorists in our communities, that are putting fear in the heart of the elders, that is guiding the youth astray, that is poisoning our people with drugs. So many of these men that we may choose to step forth and try to represent and defend and have empathy for are the enemies of our people, though they look like us. And this is one thing that we must take into consideration. As you're reading here, the individuals that's being killed here in Ezekiel chapter 9, these are Israelites. These are not strangers. So we have to understand that there are evildoers in the midst of us. And what we are to do, many Israelites nowadays, we have a double tongue, we double speak, we are duplicitous. Our people are quick to say that God is great, etc. I don't fear no man but God, etc. Yet our people will see one of ours kill someone else who is also of our people. And when the police ask them to come forward and speak truth and speak that which is righteous, they won't do it. They will not do it. They just saw one of our men kill another of our men. Kill him in cold blood. And when it's time for them to give their testimony, they refuse to speak and do the things that's right or that which is righteous, to bear witness against an evildoer. And because of this, evil and judgment is upon us because we are partakers in abomination. And that is the same as being done here in Ezekiel chapter 9. Okay, well, you know, he killed him, so it doesn't bother me. Because if I say something, then he's going to come after me and my family. And that is our mindset. So we're not trusting in the Most High and the fact that we will do that which is righteous. And we will place our protection and our trust in the Most High to protect us against evildoers. We won't do that. So, in other words, we truly, as a people, don't have faith in the fact that we can lean on, depend on the Most High, and be protected by Him when we do the things that are right in His sight. So we say one thing, but our actions show something totally different. Okay? So what we have to do is to understand that when you take this stance of seeing evil and allowing it to pass, not speaking up and doing the things that are right in the eyes and in the sight of the Most High, judgment comes upon you, Judgment comes upon your house. Judgment comes upon your people. Keep in mind, in the house of Israel, one pay or one makes a mistake, the entire congregation pays. So this is not to where you do something that's foul and it's just you and your buddy know about it and just the two of you pay. Okay? We all pay. So we have to understand that as it comes to this nation of people or this bloodline of people known as Israel. All right? Let's go to verse 9. Then said he unto me, the iniquity of the house of Israel and Judah is exceedingly great, and the land is full of blood, and the city full of perverseness, wickedness, full of blood. Just like today, these cities are full of blood, murder. For they say, Yah hath forsaken the earth, and Yah seeth not. So the house of Israel in those days felt as though the Most High has forsaken the earth, and is also stating here, okay, that he sees not. Most High doesn't see what we're doing. We're killing this Israelite in the dark back here. He doesn't see this. And that's where we are today. Our people have lost faith, okay, in the Most High. We have seen that we have done many things trying to gain respect and fairness, and it has not worked. So many of the house of Israel have lost faith and figure, you know what, I'll just do what I do. As the young people say today, I'll just do me. Okay, so every man is pretty much gone his own way. And that is disarray, that is chaos, and that type of behavior is what brings judgments upon our people in our communities in all the many nations where we dwell. Verse 10. And as for me also, mine eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense their way upon their head. In other words, you reap what you sow. If you're living in wickedness, the Most High is going to recompense your way. Whatever your way is, he will place that upon your head. If you are righteous and you are doing things that are right in his sight, he will bless you in that manner. If you are living in perverseness, if you're walking contrary to his instruction, you will also reap that reward. And those are harsh judgments, what is known as stripes, affliction, and punishment, you and your house. So if you find yourself not being able to get a break, you can't come up in any way, you have no peace within your house, health problems of the sort, etc., etc. Okay, you have to really take a look at exactly what it is you're doing. How are you conducting yourself based on this law? Okay, and in that you will find relief. Okay, verse 11. And behold, the man clothed with linen, which had the inkhorn by his side, reported the matter, saying, I have done as thou hast commanded. So the angel is reporting back to the Most High that I have done exactly as you have commanded. I have made sure that these evildoers, these individuals that walk contrary to your law, I've killed them. All right. And let me make this clear while we're speaking on this angel reporting to the Most High. There is no such thing as an angel that fell out of the sky. Let's get that clear. There's no such thing as an angel that had sex with people walking on the earth. On the earth, there is no such thing. So there is no renegade angel. There is no angel falling out of the sky. And there is no angel that had sex with women, with regular women. There is no such thing. And you can't find anything to substantiate that nonsense. All right. Now, we finished with Ezekiel chapter 9. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 20. Leviticus chapter 20. Leviticus chapter 20, and we will read verse 26. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26, and it reads, And ye shall be holy unto me. for I am Yah, and I am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. I have severed you. I have separated you from other people. In other words, you're different from other people. Okay, so we see where we have been severed. All right, so we should not be trying to be like other people. Okay, it is a sin to do this. All right, so we have been severed, we have been separated, and we're not to be as other people, nor are we to partake in the foolishness that they partake in, including their idols and their different celebrations, etc. Now let's go to go to the book of Joel. Book of Joel, chapter 3. So we understand clearly that the house of Israel, there's a separation in the house of Israel. There's a separation from the house of Israel in the midst of the nations. Okay? And that we understand clearly that we are not all the same. We have never been all the same. Not even in the house of Israel. There are the house of Israel who will follow the Most High's laws, and then there's the house of Israel who will not. A great example of, a great example of that would be Moshe and Aaron in the wilderness. Okay, there were Israelites, Korah, and the rest of them who wanted to be contrary, who wanted to challenge the priesthood. Most High killed them. Okay, so we have renegades, we have rebels, we have terrorists, if you will, in the midst of the house of Israel. And we have to root them out. It's simple as that. And the Most High will indeed root them out. Okay, let's go to Joel chapter 3, and we will read the whole chapter. Okay, Joel chapter 3, verse 1 reads, For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Verse 2, and I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down in the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. So now, the Most High said he's going to gather all nations. Didn't say he was going to gather some of them. He's going to gather all of them. Okay? And he's going to bring them down to this place called the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Valley of Decision. Okay? And he will plead with them for his people. So we see here clearly this is not the Most High pleading for the whole world. It's not happening. He's pleading for his people and for his heritage Israel. You understand that? So there is a separation there. He's bringing everyone together of all these nations, and I'm here to plead for my people. Now, we must understand when the Most High pleads, this is by no means a conversation. When he's pleading with you, he's killing you. And that's how he talks. Okay, so it's not to where I'm going to plead with these nations. I'm going to negotiate with them. Hey, why are you holding my people? Why have you done my people in this foul manner? That's not the case here. When he pleads with them, he's going to kill them. Okay? And he's going to plead with them because they scattered his people among the nations. So we know that our people have been scattered in the diaspora throughout all the many nations. And they parted his land. All right, so Israel is parted up, partitioned up, and so is the entire continent of Africa as a whole. All right. Verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people. That's placing bids on them. Okay, and have given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? So Most High wants to know, are you going to repay me for all that you have done to my people? And if you try to recompense me speedily for this, I'm going to still turn this thing upon your own head. In other words, you've got no way out. Okay, so in the house of Israel, we've been in these many lands. There's many talk right now of reparations. I know Dr. Anderson is actually put forth some, he's got some legal cases against the U.S. government to get reparations for our people here in America. Our people down in Central, South, and Latin America, okay, are also, and in the Caribbean islands, are also drawing up forms and ways and means of getting reparations from the French government, the Spanish government, the Dutch government, and all those others, the British, the French, the rest of them, okay, Portugal, and whomever else have been in this slave trade. So there is a concerted effort right now in which the House of Israel is trying to get reparations. And let me not forget you Australians. You're part of Britain. The Americans are part of Britain. So that's a three-headed snake all by itself. Okay, so those people are all responsible for the scattering of our people. Okay, so with that being said, as this reparations, they try to take this to the courts. Okay, once again, we're turning to man. According to this book, I don't see reparations ever happening, for the simple fact that the Most High said, no man restoreth, meaning for all that they have taken, they're not going to replace it. Okay, so I don't see reparations happening at all. If they get reparations, then this book is not going to hold up. All right, so if we get that, I'll be shocked. All right. However, the judgments that's going to come against these people, they're going to wish they had given reparations long before we even try to ask for it. Okay, so we have to watch for these things. But according to this book, reparations is not what's coming to us. We have to turn to the Most High, and our reward is with Him. Okay, so we cannot turn to our enemies, okay, and expect to have any equity. All right. All right. Now, verse 5 of Joel chapter 3. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The Most High did say the silver is mine, the gold is mine. So these people have actually gone into Jerusalem. They've stolen all their artifacts out of the temple when they ran the house of Israel out. They have it in their museums and wherever else, because all the precious things that Solomon had made, etc., and everyone that had dedicated, these things are still around today. We don't know where they are, but they're more than likely in the possession of our enemies who had ran through and ransacked the temple of the Most High. They have gone into Africa and stolen all the golds and the diamonds, etc. So what those peoples of those lands need to know is that all that has been stolen, it will be returned. Verse 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. That's the Greeks. And you see Greece is falling apart. That ye may remove them far from their borders. Verse 7. Behold, I will raise them up out of the places where ye have sold them. What you're seeing now is the house of Israel raising up in the many nations in which we have been scattered. Okay, and there's nothing none of these nations can do to stop it. They can't do anything to stop the raising up of the house of Israel, because we will raise up a exceedingly great army. All right, let me reread verse 7. Behold, this is the Most High speaking. I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. So all that you have done to the children of Israel will be done unto you. Just think of all the wickedness that you have done to our people in all these many lands. If there was ever a fear that there would be some get back, your fear is not mistaken, because it is coming. Verse 8. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them unto the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yah has spoken it. We were sold, you also will be sold. Okay, and that is the recompense. Your ways will return upon your own head. Okay, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. So, what you're hearing now is us declaring this to the Gentiles. We're letting you know that You have scattered our people. We are the house of Israel. And all that you have done to us is about to be returned upon your own head. You will be given a chance to call on this idol that you have given us. And we're going to see if that idol works. It certainly have not worked for us over so many centuries. And you gave us this idol. So when the Most High put these judgments, these sword judgments upon you, you will get a chance to call on this idol that you have given us. And we're going to see it doesn't work for us. So we'll see if it works for you. So you understand that. So here you're being told specifically, we're proclaiming to you that these things are about to come upon you. So you will know this. All right. And this is no accident. Verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen. Heathen simply means nations. And gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yah. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So the Most High is going to sit to judge these heathen round about. He's going to cause them and their armies all to come up. Okay? And he's going to judge them. He's going to kill them. All right? Verse 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fast overflow, for their wickedness is great. So the wine press, you stomp on grapes, okay, to crush the grapes. So when the wine press is fat, you just stomp them down and crush these grapes with your feet. So that's what's going to happen to these nations once he gathered them. He's going to destroy them. Verse 14. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of Yah is near in the valley of decision. Verse 15. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. We've just had the eclipse the other day. So you're going to see something similar to that. Okay, it's going to be dark. No sun, no moon, and the stars will not give their light. The day of the Most High is a day of darkness. All right, verse 16. Yah also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. Now he's doing this on the behalf of his people Israel. But Yah will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Doesn't say everybody. Okay, and the strength of the children of Israel, even within that context, he will be the strength of the children of Israel who walk in accordance to his commandments. Because those who do not walk or adhere to his law that are of the children of Israel, he's going to kill them. Verse 17. So shall ye know that I am Yah, your strong one, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. You have all kind of heathen in the land right now, partaking in all manner of wickedness. They will be thrown out. You will see this. Verse 13. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with water, and a fountain shall come forth of the house of Yah, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Verse 19. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yah dwelleth in Zion. Okay? So, to cleanse our blood, he's going to cleanse our blood. There's also going to be a fountain for uncleanness in that day when that third temple is built. There will be waters coming forth out of the temple that will go into the streams and the rivers to heal the waters of the earth. Okay, so These are the many things that we are to look forward to when these things begin to take place. All right, let's finish up with Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 10. Deuteronomy chapter 7, and we'll read verse 10. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 10 reads, "And repayeth them that hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him. He will repay him to his face." All right, excuse me. That concludes this lesson. The Most High said he will not be slack in repaying those that hate him. He will repay them to their face. Now let's make a simple term for that. It's called judgment. Okay? Now, when you place judgment, there has to be law in order to place judgment. Okay, so those who hate him are those who will not obey his law. He's going to repay them to their face. In other words, the judgment is placed upon you when you're alive. There's no such thing as you're being dead and you're going up to heaven, or you being dead and then judgment is being placed upon you in some lake of fire and all this other garbage that these people have told you. Most High said he's going to repay you to your face. So you're going to know it's him doing it. A dead man knows nothing. A dead man feels nothing. You slap a dead man, he will not cry out. He is dead. Okay, his spirit returned back to him who gave it. That's the Most High. Okay, so when you're dead, that's the end of you. You live forever through your seed. So all of those evildoers, those who will not adhere to the Most High's law, those who hate the Most High, he is going to repay you to your face, which means you've got to see it, which implies that you will be alive. Okay, so let's cut this foolishness out about, he's going to die and go to hell and all this other crap that you hear. It's crap. It's nothing but that. Someone dies and you know that person was wicked and you think that, oh, I hope he goes to hell. Now his judgment has already been served. He's dead. Okay, and many times that judgment passes upon his children. Okay, so those who have done the wickedness in the past to the children of Israel, their sons and daughters are here. They're going to pay for what their forefathers have done, as we are paying for what our forefathers have done. So Israel, we have to start making a stand. Number one, do not side with evildoers. Okay? Do not be a false witness. Do not see injustice and stand by the wayside. Okay, for when you do these things, you bring curses upon your house. Curses upon you, curses upon your house, curses upon the children of Israel as a whole. So we have to make this separation now to where we make a decision in whether we will side with wickedness or side with righteousness. And that is the great divide. Now, with that said, that pertains to the house of Israel. But there are those of the nations who may have never known that we are the house of Israel, who may have never heard of these laws, and may have just heard about the judgments that's been pronounced against them. Do keep in mind that those of the nations who will seek the Most High, who will take a hold of his covenant and will take a hold of Israel, you can be saved. That's so you understand that. There are many that's teaching that, you know what, such and such people can't be saved, etc. Now we know Ammonites and Canaanites can never get into the congregation of the Most High ever, not even to the 10th generation. That means that's ever. However, those other peoples, other nations of people who seek the Most High will take a hold of his covenant. Okay? You still have to pay. You still have to pay. But if you will humble yourself and your seed may be spared. So it is no hope is not lost for those people of the other nations should you humble yourselves and take a hold of the Most High's covenant. So you understand that Israel is to be a light to the Gentiles. And we will do this by teaching the Most High's laws and encouraging you to turn to them. We have to return to them because we were given them at the first, and we were the only ones that were given this law. The heathens have never ever had this law. So you have to turn to this law. We have to return to this law. So that is the difference. Now, there are many Israelites out here who are in idolatry, on street corners, hollering and yelling and screaming and cussing people out. I've discussed this before. Now, many of them may find themselves on the outside looking in when some of the very people that they may be cussing out in the streets may indeed turn to the Most High with their heart and their soul and really drop this idolatry. But the proof will be when these nations receive this sword judgments that we just spoke of in Joel chapter 3, and they call on this idol that they have given us, and it is of no avail to them, it cannot save them, that will be a clear indication to many of the house of Israel that that is indeed an idol, and that whole doctrine is false. Now, I want you to understand this. When we go back and read where the Most High sends his angel through and the men with the weapons in their hands to kill the evildoers of the house of Israel, no one got a do-over. So it's not like golf where you get a mulligan shot. You hit a bad shot and you get to tee it up again and you get a second try. So make your allegiance, make your alliance now. For when this judgment hits, there are no do-overs. There are no I didn't know. There is no I didn't know. And I didn't know, let me switch up real quick. That's not the case. Once that judgment goes forth, whatever side you're on, that's it. You can't jump the fence. So I encourage you to take this information. You've already been given Christianity and whatever else. So what I'm giving you here is another set of information. So you have two sets of information in which to gain from, in which to choose from. And look around on what's taking place around you and in the midst of the nations. That way, with the information that you have been given, you can best make a decision on which way it is that you should go. So whether you agree or disagree with the information that I'm bringing forth to you, at least take the time to read, to study, and to ask the Most High to guide you in the way that is right. And whatever that way is, that's the way in which you should walk. Okay, so this is just information that I'm sharing with you. So it is your choice. At the end of the day, no one is forcing you to do this. It is just your choice. So, I don't have time to argue with individuals who may disagree with the information that I'm putting forth. If you disagree with it, that's fine with me. I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm putting forth information that I hope provokes you to read, provokes you to study and dig deeper. That way you could stop saying, I believe this and I believe that, and speak on the things that you know. Anyway, that concludes this lesson. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Separate yourselves from the heathen, separate yourselves from wickedness, and walk in the way of the Most High's law. Peace, Israel.